This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
The cubs of the DMK take to the streets. The youth wing tries their hand at exposing Jayalalitha's delaying tactics in her wealth case. But taking on each other, common man has been inconvenienced gravely. Traffic in the city doesn't move for 2 hours. Meanwhile, in Jayalalitha's political tit-for-tat, she announces a fresh protest against the DMK, this time on the power tariff hike. The DMK does not lose its turn to score with the Chennaiites, gifts the citizens with a desalination answer to their water woes. The massive drill operational Hamla takes the city by surprise. Police test the efficacy of security agencies. After India wakes up from the bad show at the first 2 tests, they finally restrict Sri Lanka to a much lower 425. And brace yourself for the Hindu Metro Plus Theatre Festival. We bring you a sneak peek into what's lined up. Welcome to the late night news on NDTV Hindu. I'm Evelyn Matthew. A look at the national headlines as well. Come together and make India a better place. Pranav Babu asks all political parties to take on the inflationary pressure. Leader of the opposition Arun Jaitley goes on the offensive foot, calls Tamil Nadu an island government, and the Prime Minister a silent spectator. In the games over the Commonwealth Games, a senior official who manipulated rates for taxi rentals comes under the scanner. The United Nations go into damage control mode, denies making any controversial remark over the Kashmir crisis. Barely out of one, Manipur braces for another 20-day blockade called by the same Naga group. Essential supplies are hit once again. Ahead of the elections in 2011, the DMK's show of strength is thought to have caused more damage to the voters than to its rival, the AIA-DMK, who were the target of its rally in Chennai today. Our political reporter Shabir Ahmed brings you this story.
It is supposed to be a show of strength, but when observed closely, it looked like a show of nervousness. The DMK's youth wing just didn't care about anything, the affected voters or the common man, in its bid to highlight issues about opposition leader Jayalalitha. The rally cut off key roads, leaving thousands stranded. But the organizers did not appear concerned about that. As Jayalalitha came under sharp criticism, her strongest ally hit back.
நீதிமன்றத்தை ஏதோ மதிப்பதை போல நீதிமன்றத்திலே அதிமுக பொதுச் செயலாளர் முன்னாள் முதலமைச்சர் என்னுடைய அருமை சகோதரி டாக்டர் புரட்சி தலைவி அவர்கள் அவர் மீது போடப்பட்ட வழக்குக்காக அவர் வாய்தா வாங்குகிறார், காலக்கெடு கேட்கிறார். ஆகையினால எதிர்த்து திமுக ஆர்ப்பாட்டம் நடத்த போவதாக ஒரு கேலி கூத்தான ஒரு அறிவிப்பை செய்திருக்கிறது.
Social activists say the rally was unnecessary and caused inconvenience to the common man who is not really bothered about the issues.
Just because she's a public personnel or she's an opposition person, it doesn't mean that you should harness all your energies towards a protest which is going to be time consuming, money consuming, and also is going to be an inconvenience to the public at large.
Did the rally bring to surface what it claimed to expose, or ended up exposing its own nervousness, will be a matter for the people to decide. In Chennai with Shabir Ahmed, Jay Santosh for NDTV Hindu.
So clearly it was the DMK today which quite literally hijacked critical junctions in the city, leaving thousands of commuters stranded on Chennai's roads. But tomorrow it will be action replay courtesy the AIA-DMK. While political games in the form of protests and counter-protests are spilling over onto Chennai's streets, it is the common man who is caught in the crossfire.
10 a.m. Saidapet. At the receiving end of this DMK protest was supposed to be Jayalalitha. But it's the ordinary people, men and women on their way to work, children on their way to school, who were caught in the crossfire. Stuck for hours at Saidapet, considered to be the nodal point of the city. Even the mayor of Chennai joining in the cacophony, turning a blind eye to the plight of residents caught in the roar of dust and diesel, when required, failing to put party over the people. No sign of remorse.
வாய்தா வாங்குவதை கண்டிப்பதை நடத்துவது இந்த போராட்டம் மக்கள் அவர்களை அடையாளம் காண வேண்டும். தன் மீது போடப்பட்டிருக்கிற சொத்து குவிப்பு வழக்கில் ஆஜராகி தான் குற்றமற்றவர்கள் என்று நிரூபிக்க வேண்டிய ஜெயலலிதா குற்றம் செய்திருக்கிற காரணத்தால் வழக்கை நடத்த விடாமல் தடுக்கிறார் என்பதை மக்கள் மன்றத்தில் எடுத்து சொல்வதற்காகத்தான் இந்த ஆர்ப்பாட்டம்.
10:30 a.m. Collector's office in North Chennai. Similar scenes here too. The end result even more disastrous. Serpentine jams, utter chaos, and the common man caught in the crossfire. In Chennai with Simonish Nicola, NTV.
And Advocate Sudha Ramalingam spoke to us. She said that this is in fact an unmindful act by people who are responsible to maintain law and order in the city and the state.
Call this atrocious, very personal and petty-minded, and this is not something which has got to be encouraged. People will have to shun such activities of the ruling party. Whoever it be, even the opposition has no business to do such things, especially when it comes to just one particular case being adjourned for years together. We have greater issues at hand which has to be addressed to. Larger issues about the general judicial system itself could be addressed to by the state government, the ruling party. It could bring in more number of judges, more infrastructure, better provisions which would lead to speedy justice. Speedy justice for one particular case I don't think would warrant so much of attention, time and money of people, and inconveniencing so many people at large. People who even would be going to the doctors to see their doctor for an appointment or anything else are being inconvenienced. It shows that the ruling party has absolutely no regard for the people and they are only petty-minded.
Meanwhile, in the latest salvo fired by the AIADMK General Secretary Jayalalitha, she said that her party would protest against power tariff hikes in Chennai tomorrow. She strongly condemned the recent electricity rate hikes and said it would only add to the burden of the people. But some good news for the state. Tamil Nadu is fast turning into the manufacturing hub of the country, with various companies betting big on the state. Earlier today, Videocon signed a mammoth 1,500 crore rupee MOU in the presence of the Chief Minister for setting up a colour television manufacturing plant in the Sivagangai district. A tyre manufacturing plant is also headed for the state, with JK Tyres committing to another colossal investment of about 1,500 crore rupees. The Indian Oil Corporation too is positive about the opportunities available and signed another MOU for setting up an LNG plant in the Ennore district. Now, if you remember the year 2003, that was when Chennai was hit by severe scarcity of drinking water. Now, a city of almost 7 million people, it is one of the most water-stressed cities of India. But while the population grows, the amount of water they need is dwindling. Now, the government has got its strategy right by shedding its over-reliance on rains and rivers and desalinating water from the sea. Here's NDTV Hindu's report from Ground Zero, a symbol of the past, and from the desalination plants, a symbol of the future.
This channel was opened in 1996 to bring water to Chennai from River Krishna. But now it's been reduced to a trickle. Poor monsoons and illegal diversions by farmers means very little reaches Chennai.
I'm standing here at point 0 on the Andhra-Tamil Nadu border, and if you're wondering what this is about, well, this is the place from where drinking water in your homes comes from where the waters of the Krishna are diverted from Andhra Pradesh, which is behind my back, into Tamil Nadu, all with a single purpose of meeting the drinking water needs of a city like Chennai. Now, arrangements like these, however successful they might be, may not be enough to meet the growing water needs of a city like Chennai, whose population figures are multiplying by the day. That probably explains why the government is so desperate to set up desalination plants along Chennai's coastline.
All these sources are dependent on the monsoon, and any failure of monsoon rains affects the water supply.
Chennai's main water sources, the reservoirs in Pundi, Chembrabakam and Cholavaram, along with the Red Hills Lake, are hardly in a position to meet Chennai's demand for water, which has already reached 600 million litres a day. And that's where desalination plants like this, recently opened at Minjur, come into the picture. Given the vagaries of the monsoon and the unpredictability of interstate river water flows, desalination is the way forward. One more is coming up at Nemeli on East Coast Road, which will further augment the city's supply by 100 million litres a day.
We have planned these desalination plants primarily to drought-proof the city and also to supplement the water supply.
The Tamil Nadu government, led by Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi, is leaving no stone unturned to secure the drinking water needs of Chennai. Karnataka is posing problems in sharing water from River Kaveri, and poor monsoon is doing this to the water from Andhra Pradesh. That means Chennai will continue to be water stressed. So the government's logic is simple. If not the rivers or the rains, then reach for the seas. Sai Manish for NDTV Hindu.
Well, if you were stopped and asked for your identity by the city police last night on the roads of Chennai, well, it was a 48-hour drill by the police that was set to motion to check the effectiveness of their plans to manage a terrorist attack. Our crime reporter Salim tracked this trail.
Codenamed Operation Hamla, the mock operation was aimed at tracking and flushing out terrorists who are on their way to attack specific targets in Chennai. A team of police commandos posed as terrorists, but their targets or time of attack were not disclosed to the police units deployed to intercept them. The drill takes place simultaneously across the state.
The office of the City Commissioner of Police turned into a virtual fortress. No one is allowed to enter except the men in khaki. Even the cops are subjected to undergo a thorough check.
Tuesday's Operation Hamla is the third such drill in Tamil Nadu, after terrorist attacks on luxury hotels in Mumbai in 2008. The first drill was named Operation Barricade in July last year, followed by Operation Rakshak in December. Both were aimed at seaborne terrorists. The drills will evaluate the effectiveness of police preparedness by the number of terrorists they managed to detect and stop before they could reach their targets. In Chennai, with Salim, J. Santosh for NDTV Hindu.
Now, in a move which could interest you and me, the Tamil Nadu Electricity Regulatory Commission has warned landlords against overcharging electricity tariffs for their tenants. Much relief after the tariff hike already in force. The highest tariff applicable to a domestic consumer will now be 4 rupees and 5 paise per unit. If anyone is found collecting more than that amount, action will be taken under the Electricity Act. This is the Late Night News. Up ahead, if there's something that woos a Madrasi woman, it's 9 feet long and has a tinge of gold on it. And what can you look forward to from this year's Hindu Metro Plus Theatre Festival? Stay tuned to find out.